Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, April the 6th, year 2015, and as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Great to be back with you guys. Hope you guys had a fabulous weekend. Hope you caught some of the games over the weekend, as we are ready for the national title game tonight between the Duke Blue Devils and the Wisconsin Badgers. Yes, Wisconsin pulled the stunner over the weekend. Hope you guys watched the game. Wisconsin beats Kentucky 71-64, and they advance to the title game. They knock Kentucky out of the ranks of the unbeaten. Kentucky's season is over. What a win for Wisconsin. Tremendous, tremendous effort by them. We all love Kaminsky. Decker again with a big three down the stretch. What a performance by the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin led a lot of this game. They're up 8 in the second half. Kentucky comes flying back. I think Wisconsin went without a field goal for like 7 minutes. Kentucky goes up 4, and you're sitting there going, all right, Kentucky is going to do it again. But Wisconsin down the stretch made all the big plays. Like I said, Decker with the big three down the stretch. Wisconsin hit their free throws, and for the first time all year, Kentucky did not make the plays at the end of the game, and Wisconsin pulls off the upset. We said all year, if there was a team that could beat Kentucky, it was Wisconsin. And who knows if the pressure got to Kentucky this whole undefeated season. To me, I said it before the tournament, Kentucky was probably better off losing a game, getting that extra pressure off their back. They were carrying so much pressure. The undefeated season, that is a lot to carry into these games. They almost got clipped by Notre Dame. They escaped that game, but they did not escape here. Bo Ryan and the Badgers, what a tremendous job by them. Great job by Wisconsin. They are a totally likable team. Does anyone not like Wisconsin? I mean, you don't have to be from Wisconsin or Madison to like this team. This team is a really gritty team. They play the game really well, fundamentally sound. Bo Ryan is a great coach. What did he win? Like 3 national titles in Division III. Bo Ryan again back to the Final Four. What a tremendous job by Wisconsin. Great, great job by them. And Kentucky, listen, they had a fabulous year. They had pressure on them all season. That's a lot to bear. They lost to a team here that is a good team. This is not a bad team. I mean, we said all year, if there's a team that can beat Kentucky, it would be Wisconsin. So no disgrace losing here to Wisconsin. I know the Kentucky fans were heartbroken. By the way, Kentucky has some of the best fans in all of sports. They travel everywhere. Did you see all the Kentucky fans, not only in the building, but how about hanging around outside Indiana all weekend at the bars there? I mean, there was 1 million Kentucky fans all distraught. Now, I know you always get a couple of clowns after the game. They're lighting things on fire. You don't like to see that, but overall, the Kentucky fan base is absolutely tremendous. Also, I did not like to see some of the Kentucky players after the game walk off the floor without shaking the Wisconsin players' hands. Didn't like to see that. Didn't like to see the press conference where Harrison said what he said. You just can't say that. I mean, you have a mic right in front of you. What are you thinking? So, Kaminsky, he said it's no big deal. But you didn't like to see that at all. You didn't like to see Harrison say that, with the mic right in front of him. And what does he think is going to happen there? So terrible judgment by him. Like I said, bad job by Kentucky walking off the floor there. But remember, you're dealing with 18 and 19-year-old kids. I mean, you're going to maybe get some of this kind of stuff. All right, so that is the Wisconsin-Kentucky game. And on the other side, Duke plastered Michigan State 81-61. Michigan State, who probably overachieved to get to the Final Four. Tom Izzo does this every time. He overachieves and gets to the Final Four, but they ran into a buzzsaw here in Duke. Duke is peaking at the right time. They look fresh, they look energized, and they mowed down Michigan State in the second half. It was all Duke. So that sets up Duke and Wisconsin. They played earlier in the year at Madison. Duke won in Madison by 10. That's not easy to do. The game is pick'em. I would give a slight edge to Duke, being they already beat Wisconsin at Wisconsin. But hey, this is a toss-up game. This game could go either way. And I'll tell you what, these two teams are very likable. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Duke, and I'm sure most of America is going to be rooting for Wisconsin. I think both of these teams are very likable. Like, Wisconsin's incredibly likable, and Duke with Coach K is a likable team. I respect Coach K so much, what he's done for Duke, what he's done for college basketball, what he's done for USA basketball. So I am not one of these Duke haters like so many people are out there. I mean, basically what it comes down to is they're just jealous of Duke. They win a lot, so they're just jealous of them. But in the end, these two teams are very likable to me, and it's an even game. So I'm just going to sit there and enjoy this game. I mean, whoever wins, I'm going to be happy for, and whoever loses, I'm going to be sad for, really. Because I like both of these teams. I like both coaches. I like both personnels. I mean, they're both likable teams. There's no real villain in this final here. So should be a tremendous final. And like I said, I think the game is a toss-up, maybe a slight edge to Duke because they already beat Wisconsin in Wisconsin. But come on, Wisconsin just beat Kentucky. They can beat anyone. They have upperclassmen. They have Kaminsky. They have Decker. So this should be a really fascinating matchup. I mean, Duke is more balanced this year with the big man Okafor in the middle. You know they can do things on the perimeter. So this is a fascinating final. Could go either way. Slight edge to me for Duke because they already beat Wisconsin. But this is a flip of the coin game. Should be a tremendous game. I'll tell you, the college basketball tournament is tremendous. It's exciting. It's a lot of drama. The one-and-done format is absolutely amazing. It's not like the NBA or the NHL or Major League Baseball. You have these long series all the time. One and done is so exciting. I mean, that's why we love college football, too. One game means so much. I mean, the one-and-done format just adds so much extra excitement to everything. I mean, the games are riveting. I mean, that Kentucky-Wisconsin game was great. By the way, I should mention this. The officiating in the Kentucky-Wisconsin game was atrocious, by the way, on both sides. There were bad calls on both sides. I mean, the shot clock violation that they didn't call was completely atrocious. Fouls called on both teams. I mean, they called a charge on Wisconsin that was an awful call. Kentucky should have been hit with a flagrant foul, and the guy hit the other guy in the face. They didn't call that. There were bad calls on both sides, so that probably evened out. So it didn't factor into the game as far as who I think was going to win. I think Wisconsin was going to win this game. I mean, you could debate it all you want because I think both calls were bad on both sides, so I think it negated itself. But I'll tell you, the officiating was atrocious in that game. I mean, one of the worst officiating games I have seen in a while. So terrible officiating, but it was bad on both sides. So I didn't think either team had a big advantage, either way with the officiating. Although that shot clock violation when Kentucky was up 2, they should have had the ball up 2 there. How did they miss that when Wisconsin tied the game? I think it was 60-60. What an awful miss that was, and they couldn't even review it because there's over 2 minutes left or something like that. I mean, just awful officiating. But anyway, tonight's game, tremendous, must-watch basketball. Wisconsin-Duke should be great stuff. I also caught some of the women's basketball last night. The UConn Lady Huskies, what else is new? They get to the finals. They roll over Maryland. They will play Notre Dame again. Notre Dame escaped, beat South Carolina. Remember, UConn beat Notre Dame last year in the final, so it's a rematch of last year's final. UConn already beat Notre Dame this year at Notre Dame. UConn is an amazing program. I mean, they've won 9 national titles. I think they're 9-0 in the finals. You expect them to win here, although Notre Dame has given them problems in the past. If there's a team that maybe can give UConn trouble, it would be Notre Dame. But this UConn program is amazing. Gino Auriemma is a fabulous coach. And people ask me all the time, they're like, can Gino Auriemma coach a men's team? And I'm like, absolutely. And people say, well, why doesn't he? Well, why would he? Look at the empire he's built here in women's basketball. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad he doesn't coach the men's team. Just like Pat Summitt, who used to coach Tennessee, she could have coached a men's team for sure. They're too important to the women's game. Pat Summitt, Gino Auriemma, they're too important to the women's game. Women's college basketball needs those figures. I mean, they can absolutely coach men's basketball. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad Pat Summitt stayed at Tennessee, and I'm glad Gino Auriemma stays at UConn as far as the ladies' side. He could definitely coach a man's team, but he's too important to the women's game. I like that he's still coaching the women's team, and this women's UConn team is amazing. They can play. I know a lot of you don't like, women's basketball. Please, check it out tomorrow. These ladies can really play. Take my word for it. It is exciting stuff. They can really play. They're fundamentally sound. Check out UConn Notre Dame tomorrow. All right, so that's your college basketball. Wisconsin, Duke tonight on the men's side. UConn, Notre Dame tomorrow on the ladies' side. Real quick, let's touch on the NBA, NHL. The NBA right now, we're coming down the home stretch. Here's where we are in the NBA right now. Here's your top 8 in the East. Atlanta, Cleveland, Chicago, Toronto, Washington, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, and Boston. Pacers and the Heat on the outside looking in. Of course, the Heat don't have Bosh the rest of the year. Pacers did get George back. Good to see George back in the lineup after that horrific injury last year where he broke his leg. But you look at the Eastern Conference, Boston and Brooklyn right now are in playoff spots. Milwaukee, give Milwaukee credit for making the playoffs without Parker, but they're not going to go anywhere. I'm not a big believer in Washington or Toronto. I like Chicago, but Rose is never healthy. That leaves Atlanta and Cleveland, and I don't know what to make of Atlanta. So until proven otherwise, I'm going to say Cleveland and LeBron James get to the finals out of the East. As far as the West, Golden State, Houston, Memphis, Portland, the Clippers, San Antonio, Dallas, and Oklahoma City, the top 8. Oklahoma City is hanging on. Remember, Durant's out for the year. New Orleans is right on their heels. By the way, Davis is a fabulous player for the New Orleans Pelicans. You haven't seen him, check him out. As far as the West, forget Oklahoma City without Durant. New Orleans, even if they make the playoffs, they're not going anywhere. I'm not enamored with Dallas. I'm not enamored with the Clippers. Portland's a good team, but I don't think they're a championship team. Memphis is fading a little bit. Houston, Dwight Howard, I never know what to make of him. To me, it comes down to Golden State and San Antonio. Believe it or not, San Antonio is in the 6th spot right now. And by the way, did you see them yesterday? They bombed Golden State and San Antonio. If there's a team Golden State does not want to see, it's the Spurs. I think it comes down to Golden State and San Antonio. I love Golden State this year. They have that great home crowd, but San Antonio, you don't want to pick against them. I mean, they just are, they never age. Duncan never ages, either does Ginobili. They keep reinventing themselves. Golden State, San Antonio would be one heck of a series if we get it. I think those are the 2 best teams when all's said and done in the West, coming down the home stretch in the NBA. As far as the NHL, here we go. Only a few games left in the NHL. Here's your top 8 in the East right now. Rangers, Montreal, Tampa, Washington, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Boston. Ottawa has 93 points. They're on the outside looking in, but they are only 2 points behind Boston, Detroit, and Pittsburgh. I'll tell you what, Ottawa has played really good hockey to get to this point. They were way out of it. They played really good to get to this point. They're still on the outside looking in. Boston has played better recently. Detroit and Pittsburgh are in a free fall. Do you realize that there's a chance that Detroit or Pittsburgh may not make the playoffs? I mean, right now they're hanging on, but I'll tell you what, even if they make the playoffs, they're out in the first round. What's going on with the Penguins? What's going on with the Penguins? I mean, they have fallen completely apart. Sidney Crosby doesn't look like the same superstar he was. Malkin always has some injury. Letang's out of the lineup again. Fleury, since they won the Cup, you know, he can't get out of his own way. They can never beat the Flyers. They've lost 8 in a row to the Flyers. They got trounced again by them yesterday. They've lost 4 straight to the Flyers. Flyers beat them up every time they play them. Penguins changed coaches. That hasn't done any good. I mean, can we get Mario Lemieux out of the front office, get him to coach this team? This Penguin team needs a kick in the butt. They look lost. They should be better than this. What's happened to them? They look like they're going to go out in the first round if they even make the playoffs. Detroit, same thing. They're falling apart. I mean, the Islanders have dipped a little bit, but still, the Islanders have had a really nice season. I'll tell you the team that's on the move right now, Washington. They have climbed up to the 4th spot right now, so Washington really making a move. But Pittsburgh and Detroit look horrendous. I can't believe there's a chance Pittsburgh or Detroit may not make the playoffs. They're only 2 points ahead of Ottawa. Now, they probably hang on. There's only like 3 games left in the season. But can you really see Pittsburgh making a run here, or Detroit? I think they're going to be out in the first round. Of course, the Rangers look solid, so does Montreal and Tampa Bay. Like I said, Washington really making a move, and Boston playing better as of late. That's your Eastern Conference. As far as the West right now, Anaheim the 1, St. Louis the 2, Nashville the 3, Chicago the 4. Chicago's got to get healthy. Minnesota the 5, Vancouver the 6, Calgary the 7 right now with 93 points. The 8 right now, the Kings at 92. Winnipeg has 92, but they lose the tiebreaker right now. And San Jose is out of the playoffs. Wow, what a terrible job by San Jose. They are completely out of it. So right now the race is Calgary, LA, and Winnipeg. They're all jostling for position right now. Winnipeg on the outside looking in. LA, Remember what LA did last year? LA, they snuck into the playoffs. They went on that magical carpet ride run. They came back against all those teams, had those, overtime wins, came back from 2-0 in series, 3-0 in series. They were rallying all over the place. I was thinking about this. Say LA makes the playoffs and they're the 8th seed. You're sitting there and you're Anaheim, who's the 1 seed, and you're like, thanks. We're the 1 seed. We had this great year, and you throw LA in our lap. And LA beat Anaheim last year. That was one of the comebacks on LA's magic carpet ride. They beat Anaheim. Anaheim's got to be sitting there going, oh, no, not the Kings again. We had the best record in the NHL, and you're going to throw LA in our lap? Could happen. I expect LA to make the playoffs, and they can do damage once they're there. We saw that last year coming down the home stretch in the NHL. Masters this week. Can't wait for it. Of course, the worst kept secret in golf. Was there any doubt Tiger Woods was going to play in the Masters? Tiger Woods was going out there if he had to walk out there in crutches. He was playing the Masters. He's not missing a major. He's not missing the Masters. I mean, if he can get out there, he is doing it. He played a practice round last week. He shot a +2. If there's a tournament Tiger Woods can hang around in, it's the Masters. He usually plays well at the Masters even when he doesn't win, so I expect Tiger Woods to hang around. Now here's what I don't want. If Tiger Woods is about 20 shots off the lead, we don't need to see every shot from him and every analyzation from every announcer from here to Timbuktu. I don't need to see that for a couple days. I mean, there's nothing I can't stand worse than when Tiger Woods is like 20 shots off the lead. They go to every one of his shots and they analyze everything about his swing. I can't take it. Enough is enough. If he's in contention, that's fine. Hanging around, that's fine. Not when he's 20 shots off the lead. We'll see how Tiger Woods plays. Really excited about the Masters. Like to see if McIlroy can win the Masters this year. And believe it or not, Major League Baseball has started. We had one game last night, the Cardinals and the Cubs from Wrigley Field, which they're redoing. Looks great. Looks like when those renovations are completed, Wrigley Field is going to look even better. Major League Baseball starts. Basically everyone in action today. If you want some baseball, you got wall-to-wall baseball all day today. How long is the baseball season? We're in early April and the season goes to almost November. It's way too long, way too long. Hard to get into baseball right now, especially with the NCAA tournament going on, NBA and NHL playoffs coming up, Masters, and now you're going to throw baseball at us? I mean, I'll keep an eye on it. It's going to take me a while to warm up for baseball, but it has started. You got games on all day. Opening day is a fun day. Everyone has a fresh start. How about the Padres making all these moves? I mean, the Padres making moves left and right. Made a trade yesterday. They get Upton. They got Kemp. Padres making all sorts of moves. They could be an improved team this year. By the way, Petco Park in San Diego, absolutely gorgeous. I recommend you go see it. All right, there you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. Tonight, it's a national championship game night. Duke in Wisconsin from Indianapolis. Should be a fabulous game. I wish the game would start a little earlier. It's 9:20 here on the East Coast. I wish it would start a little earlier here on the East, but that's what happens here on the East Coast. Things generally start later because we got to get that West Coast audience home from work. Should be a great game. I will give Duke the slight edge, but I would not be shocked at all if Wisconsin won. I think both teams are tremendous. Both teams, to me, very likable. I'm sure most of the country will be rooting for Wisconsin, though. I will be back with you guys tomorrow. We will recap the game, touch on anything else going on in the sports world. So you guys enjoy the games. It's a must-watch tonight. Duke, Wisconsin should be tremendous. I will be back with you guys tomorrow. We'll recap it. You guys stay safe. Enjoy the game. Thanks for the support. Be back with you tomorrow, Tuesday. Take care.